Good morning, everyone. Hopefully you're enjoying this beautiful sunshine. We've got a few more people logging in. Very excited about today's show. Although I miss our co-host, as you know, I usually do this with Taylor, but I have two great guest co-hosts today, so I am really excited about today's show. We've got just a few more logging in. So Dave, where you are you getting any rain? Because I got to tell you, our grass is looking a little like straw today.
No rain. Having to use the sprinklers.
Oh, you sound very happy about that, Dave.
Yeah, no, it's hot and dry.
Oh. Yes, my garden, my zucchinis are getting big, but they're looking a little wilty today, so. All right, so let me go ahead and introduce myself. If you're just joining us on your first Mixing It Up, this is a weekly variety show that we do. We have different guest hosts. We talk about different topics, new products, and exciting things that are coming into our real estate market. And so normally, as I mentioned, Taylor is my co-host, Taylor Fidowa, but she's on vacation with her family today. So it's going to be me, and I have two great guest hosts. First, we have Dave DeReese, who is the CEO of MiRealSource. Dave, can you say hi to everybody?
Hi, everybody.
And then we also have John Found. And John, we're going to tell you all about John. He's got some really cool titles, and he's going to take you on a whole tour of IDX. But John, can you say hi to everybody so we can hear you?
Hi.
Morning person, right, John? All right, so if you're joining us for the very first time, a little bit of housekeeping. If you go to your go-to webinar panel, which by now is probably minimized to a small strip on the right side of your screen, unless you've moved it, you will find a question box. That question box is going to allow you to ask any questions as we go through the demonstration today with John and Dave. And we will address your questions. So if you just type them in, we'll go ahead and ask John. Feel free to ask John the really hard questions. He's really good at that. He's very, very smart. And let me tell you a little bit about me. I am on staff with MiRealSource. I've also been a licensed realtor for 22 years. And so we're going to be going through your questions. We're going to be covering a great deal of information today. And then we also give away some prizes. So that's one of my favorite things. So we're going to be giving away some cool stuff too. First, Dave, tell us a little bit about you. A lot of people don't know your background, but I always love when you tell people, you know, who you are and who you were in this industry. Can you give us a little recap of what you did in your real estate career?
Well, I've been in the business for over 40 years. The first 8 years, I was an agent, and then after that, I was a broker owner, and then after that, I was the CEO at MiRealSource for the last 12 years. So over 40 years. So that's a long time. And you always have to bring that up.
I do. When I say 22 years in real estate, I think that makes me sound old, but 40, that definitely puts you on the older side.
Yeah.
All right. So John, now you have a very interesting background. Tell us about you.
Well, it's interesting in that I'm a disappointment to my parents. I went to law school, and now I'm the director of data distribution for MiRealSource, which I actually do enjoy. It's a lot more fun than studying for the bar exam. So I've been with MiRealSource for 5 years now. I'm actually hitting 5 years this week, so I will be sure to have a cake in my honor.
We'll send you a cake.
I appreciate that.
That's terrific. So, so John, tell us, because you wear many hats at MiRealSource, and I know I come to you so much with all of my questions. You're one of the smartest people I know. And so tell us, you know, what roles you play at MiRealSource. Tell us a little about what you do.
I do technical support. In addition, I manage our IDX and syndication feeds. So that's kind of where the data distribution comes in.
You know, we actually
He's a director of data distribution, but a lot of people just call him Dr. IDX.
Yes.
That is an awesome title. So, all right, I am going to pass you over the controls, and I know you're going to take us on a whole tour here. So I'm going to send you.
While you're doing that, I want to just mention that I had the opportunity to interview John on my podcast, which is yourrealsource.info. And if you want to hear that podcast, if you go to that website, yourrealsource.info, you'll be able to find the podcast episode. And it was really good, and we got a lot of interesting information during that. So you can always go to that as well.
And I have to tell you, I learned a lot. You know, I think I know a fair amount, but I have to tell you, I learned a lot in that interview. So it was really good. I picked up some really valuable tips that I didn't know, and I love it. You made it very easy to understand. And matter of fact, maybe that's where we could start today. Maybe we could actually start off with, you know, we hear words like syndication, IDX, and again, I'm not the smartest at all of that, but could you kind of take us on a tour of what each one of those means? What are the differences? And could you kind of start us off there maybe?
Right. So this comes up a lot, people asking anytime they want to distribute their listing out somewhere, they kind of conflate the two terms, syndication and IDX. Syndication would be when it's being sent to a website like a Zillow, a Realtor.com, Homes.com, Trulia, one of those, where it's got everyone's information that wants it distributed to it. Whereas IDX would be where it's going to a brokerage website or an agent's website, where the attribution is going to have the listing office on it, but it's mostly going to be focused on getting the lead to that brokerage or to that agent whose website it is. So when it's going to syndication, that's when you get your attribution as the listing agent. That's when it's going to have all of your information on there, the contact information. For IDX, because it's going to someone else's website, that's kind of where it's mostly geared towards steering the lead towards them as the buy side of it.
So would it be fair to say that syndication sites are really just advertising sites?
Yeah, in a lot of ways, I would say that. Whereas the brokerage sites are more towards the individual whose website it is. So a lot of people still, they like the benefits of the syndication website. They don't like the benefits of the IDX website so much because on the syndication side, you're more likely to capture both sides of the transaction. Whereas the IDX, it's really geared towards someone else coming in from the sell side.
And when it comes to the difference between syndication and IDX, is there a difference in who has to give the permission for that listing to go there? For the listing to go to, for example, Zillow, does the broker have to be involved and give the permission?
Yes, for any data distribution, there's control as to whether or not you want it to go out to where you want it to go out. So for IDX, it's more of a universal thing. Everyone's listings are shared through IDX to each other. Whereas syndication, the broker has direct control over the websites that he wants or she wants them to go to. That was terrible. I caught myself on that, but that was terrible.
So on IDX, because it's meant for going on other people's brokerage or agent websites, it's treated as an opt-out. So if you don't want your listings to go on IDX, you would opt out. Whereas
but you would be opting out, and it would be more towards reciprocal because you wouldn't be getting everyone else's.
Right. If you there's the big thing is if you opt out, then you can't use anybody else's on your website.
Yeah, that'd be kind of an unfair advantage.
But so if the IDX is an opt out, then the syndication is definitely an opt in. You have to actually say, I want my listing to go to Zillow or to Realtor.com.
Right, and that's kind of a major hang up for people because they don't realize that they need to opt in for these services, or they don't realize that their broker needs to opt in for these services. So it's a common call, like, why is my listing not on this website, whether it's Zillow or homes.com. So for that, we do still require the broker's permission because it is the broker's data. So the broker does have control over where it goes.
So if you were to get a call and it said, hey, I don't see my listing on XYZ site, and it's not one of the big ones, is there another place where their broker can go to give permission for it to be on some of these smaller sites?
Yeah, for the smaller sites, we would have the broker go to listhub.com. Listhub is a portal that sends the listings out to, I believe right now it's 93 different websites that they publish to. So in addition to our direct feeds that we have to Zillow and Homes and Realtor, for which the broker signs off saying that they want them to go to these websites, we send the data to ListHub, and from ListHub, the broker would create an account and they would control, of those 93 smaller websites, which of those websites they want to publish to. So those would be like the main ones. Most common calls would be regarding, well, where is my website going? And we don't always have a comprehensive answer of where the website's going, because a lot of it is controlled through what the broker has set up in ListHub.
All right. So, John, I know you're going to talk a little bit about, we're going to talk a little bit more about IDX and getting things like that set up, but I thought we could just do a quick poll, if that's okay. So I'm going to launch a poll. And the question is, do you currently use, and hopefully you can see that, do you currently use an IDX website? So your options are going to be yes, no, or I'm not really sure. We'll give you about 10 seconds. So go ahead, you can actually use your mouse. You can click right into yes, no, or not sure. Oh, getting a lot of responses. This is good. Good, waiting on 2 more. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and now share that. So the answer was, are you using an IDX website? A lot of people saying yes. I would say yes is in first place, no is in third place, but a lot of people just not sure. So kind of good. It's going to be great for John to explain exactly why you may need IDX and what it's going to, how it's going to benefit your real estate business. So, okay, I'm going to kick it back to you.
Yeah, so the ones who aren't sure, that's actually kind of common that they wouldn't be sure. A lot of franchises do set up their own IDX websites for their agents. So depending on the size of the franchise you are, you might have one and not really know about it. Sorry, I'm just trying to bring her back up. There we go.
In the olden days, the idea of having an IDX site for either a brokerage or an agent was the idea that buyers would go to that site to see listings. But then over the years, there were so many other syndication websites that are competing for the eyeballs of the buyers that there's been kind of a fall off in viewing that as an important aspect. However, I think that people are now, starting to realize that there is a niche for brokers or agents still having their own IDX website because it's a great tool to use when they're sharing listings on social media, to also have a landing spot for them to go once they're on their, for example, their Facebook page, and they saw a listing that was shared on that, but they want to look at other listings, you can get them from that Facebook page onto your IDX page and probably have a better chance of starting to work with them.
Yeah, I'd say in like the last 10, 15 years when social media really took off, that's kind of where it changed how IDX websites, their relative importance in the industry. Because in addition to having those syndication websites that kind of draw views away from an individual agent or an individual brokerage's website, these people know the big syndication websites. They have Hollywood actors who appear in their advertisements. They see those on TV, and then those are the places that they look for their listings when they go online, as opposed to a brokerage website. Social media would be the next one where it's like that's kind of where people get a lot of their leads on stuff that's on the market. So one of the things is, well, how do you transition them from seeing an individual listing on social media to then going to a specific brokerage website or a specific agent website, so that the lead stays with you, the one who originally got their attention through social media. And that's kind of where our next piece comes in. The single property website that MiRealSource has offered to its members. So for those of you, listed something recently, you might see that little icon on your listing. It's the blue house, the white check mark. That will launch the single property website that I can show you right here.
That would be great. Yeah, if they could see it, I think they would love it.
Okay.
Well, John's bringing that up. I think that's the important takeaway is that the starting point nowadays is you're going to share it on social media and then get them from social media onto your IDX site. But it's so important that the way you share it on social media is important so that they aren't seeing any competitor.
Right. So how much of my screen can you see at this point?
We can see the single property website.
Okay, perfect. So this would be the single property website that you have within MiRealSource, within Paragon. Click on that little icon, it pulls this up. So this is your single property website. Now,
hey, I know her.
Yes. This you can then share to your social media. So we have the example here that Colleen shared this, her listing to her Facebook page. So she captures the lead through social media. They're clicking on this specific link, which launches this website. And now the next piece we want is how do we tie this into getting them to Colleen's IDX website? So that's the piece that is being worked on right now. We don't have an exact date for when it's going to be launched, but it's going to take this single property website and link it to the IDX website that Colleen also gets through MiRealSource. So link it right to here where there will be a property search available. And that's what keeps the lead within Colleen. So it goes from the single property website to social media, brings them back to the single property website. And then when they want to look beyond just the one listing, that's when it stays within the lead stays within Colleen's website.
And I think we've got a lot of people who maybe aren't so familiar with the single property website. As a matter of fact, I think I have a poll. Hold on. Let me launch a quick poll, John, and I'm going to kick it right back to you. But I kind of want to know before we decide how far to go into the single property website, let's see how many people have actually used the single property website. So if you've ever used the single property website to promote your listings on social media, let us know here. And that'll let us know how deep John needs to go into the single property website because it does a whole lot. So have you used the single property website to promote your listings on social media? Please go ahead and select yes, no, or just not sure. Maybe you think you've done it, but you're just not sure. Then go ahead and click that bottom option. Ooh, good. All right, 5 more seconds. Wow, neck and neck. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and close the poll. And I'm going to share our results. So it's split right down the middle on yes and no. So I think we have some people who've not used it yet, as many as have used it, and then some people still unsure. So John, could you actually go into the single property website and really show it? And I know I added a virtual tour to there so that you can show that. Maybe you could take them on a tour of actually what that does and some of the great benefits it has.
Okay.
All right, hold on, let me stop.
While we're moving between presenters, one thing that everyone needs to know is that you don't have to lift a finger for the single property website to be created. You don't have to ask for it to be created. Every single listing that is originated in MiRealSource, if you put it in MiRealSource as a new listing, it's automatically going to generate a single property website. So it's already there. Once you've listed it and put it in, it'll be there. And then they're are they notified? How does that work?
Yeah, they're notified as soon as it's live. So basically, you just, all the hard work is really done. The same thing you do every time you put a listing in. So you just put your listing in as normal, or your admin puts your listing in. Within an hour, you receive the email with the links that you can see that the single property website is all set up for you. But even if you don't, if you go right back under resources, you can go to list track, and you can actually see the link has been created, and it's very quick. It's usually within an hour, and you can promote it right away.
So if they don't see it on their email, maybe it went to their spam or something, can they get to it just by a link on their listing?
They can. Maybe John can actually show that.
From the link in the listing? Yeah, let me get to the paragraph really quick.
Sorry to make you bounce all over, but I figure
Oh, no.
we'll go on the whole tour. And then what I really like as well, John is pulling that up, even your virtual tours, and it defaults, by the way, to your branded virtual tour, which I really like. So basically, I put my listing into Paragon, and in the part where it says tours and compensation, you can actually add up to 4 tours. You can do a branded and unbranded tour. Now, obviously, the unbranded tour is what you're going to see in the MLS, what goes out to your clients, because we, don't want them to see anybody but you. We want them to, get your contact information at the bottom. But the branded tour is where if you've got a tour, maybe you did a nice property virtual tour, or maybe recently you walked through the property, even with your camera phone, and you said who you were and your contact information. If you place that in the branded tour, like we showed you a few Mixin it ups ago, then your single property website will actually default to having that great branded tour on it. So when you're actually promoting your listings out there, when you're putting them on social media, then you're going to see that branded tour pop up right on your single property website.
So I think John's hovering over the link right now.
Yeah, so it's the blue icon with the white check mark. So it'll look like a blue house with a white check mark. Click that, it'll launch right into the single property website for your listing. From there, you have the ability to share it out through social media. So you should see on the right side of the screen all of your social media icons here, from which you can share it out. Okay, and then this is the virtual tour. It will actually open it up, and then depending on your video settings on your browser, it could just open up automatically. Mine, it's prompting me to save it, but that'll depend on the settings on your computer. And then after you share it, that's when it comes over to your Facebook page, and it'll look like this, where it'll have the primary photo of the listing, and then you can add a little caption to it as well.
I did that to make it easy for you today, Brian, to make it easy for you, John.
And can you go down to the bottom of the page so they can see what else they see there?
Yeah. So once you go to the bottom, that's where you're going to have, in addition to the remarks, the property details, you also have the contact me section here. So this is kind of where you can begin to capture some information, because the if they want to fill it out, it'll go right to you, and then you'll have their email address and phone number. Same thing, it kind of functions when it links out to the IDX website. The contact me section on the IDX website, just like the single property website, designed to capture that email address and phone number.
Can I say one thing about the single property website? Can you scroll down just a little bit further, John? One of the things that I like so much about this is, one, that it's automated, but two, so many people that are sharing their listings on syndicated sites, you don't realize, but really when they're clicking on all the hard work you just put into the MLS, your photos and your information, and then they share it on a syndicated site. Now, when people are seeing it, they're seeing those agents who just bought the zip codes at the top with the 20 stars and the blowing hair pictures, and basically you're giving all your hard work in many cases to a site where agents who would maybe purchase the zip code or are advertising on that site are now getting that lead. The nice thing about when you're using the single property website to get your listing out there and put it on social media, they're only seeing you and the other properties that you have. So as you can see down below, they're not seeing any other brokerages. They're not seeing any other agents. What they're seeing is my other listings, and they can see, other even pending listings that I may have, other active listings, but it's only promoting me and my listings that I've closed, or listings that I've pended, or listings that I have active. I'm not doing all this hard work and giving my lead over to another agent who maybe just bought that zip code. So it's a great way to promote your properties without giving away your information.
And the single property websites are included in your membership at MiRealSource. There's no additional fee.
Yes, and then that's where the IDX piece will come in. It's in addition to having your inventory on the single property website, once you have that IDX piece in place, that's where it launches the viewer to a section where they can search those other listings. But while they're searching those other listings, because for Colleen, I think it has the one listing in there, the one active. So it has to cycle through all of your previous closed listings. Because there's no additional inventory that's active on the market. But with that IDX piece, that's where the public's still seeing more active listings, but the lead stays with you. So,
and Colleen, why'd you sell everything? We wanted to have some actives then.
I know my cuddle went pending. I know it's really, I feel very fortunate, but now I'm trying to build up some inventory. But I got a couple new ones coming next week, so don't worry, we won't have that problem again.
And then you can kind of see on the IDX piece, unlike with your Zillows, unlike with your Realtor.coms, where the prominent attribution is for those people that pay the extra, the premium rates for those syndicators, all of the contact information is going to be oriented towards keeping them with you. The contact me to you, the phone numbers to you. So that's kind of the benefit of launching from the single property to the IDX. And that's where that IDX piece that's built by the same company that does the single property website, where the added benefit is with having an IDX website, not just having an IDX website, but having one that links to that single property website.
And what we're discussing and what you're showing here is kind of a new feature, a new product that MiRealSource is offering. There is a fee associated with this. So if somebody wanted it, instead of having an IDX site from some other IDX vendor, they can now get an IDX site like the one you're showing right here directly from us, and it's all automated and it's all integrated with the MLS, and it's very easy and simple to put together and get up and running. It's a lot simpler than other IDX vendors because it's not done by the MLS. These are actually done by the MLS.
Right. With another vendor, you might have a wait time in terms of making sure that they're displaying the compatible or the required fields rather. This one, the feed's already in place, so it's built automatically. They pull the photos, the agent photo, the office photo, they pull that directly from the MLS. So there's no additional piece that you really have to do to set it up. it's already going to be set up. It's just a matter of getting it turned on. And if you already have your domain, a matter of having that domain linked directly to this. So for Colleen's, you already have the domain prior to activating this IDX website. So it was just toggling it to where when they try to go to, was it ColleenSellsMichiganRealEstate.com, to make sure it goes to this page as opposed to any other page. So that's the thing. If you already have your established domain and you don't want to print out new business cards, you don't have to do that. It can automatically go to there.
When you're talking about domain, when we first started talking about this, I thought, oh my gosh, that sounds really scary. How do I get a domain? And I literally, I think it was like $5. I went to GoDaddy and set up the domain I wanted. So it was really, really simple. And then I could customize it to exactly what I wanted it to be. So even I could do it, John. I know you're impressed with that, right? Could you possibly show us kind of how the searching works and maybe some of the result that they get back? So, and just to clarify what Dave said, so the single property website that we showed you before, because I know we're showing you two different, and sometimes it can be confusing. The single property website that we showed you previously, where you can share it onto Facebook, John was showing you that is already included in your MiRealSource benefits. So you can start using that right now. We have a great class on that. Our lead generation class will show you how to use that. There's even some call capture features. There's some really cool stuff in there. And so we'll take you on a tour of that. You can find that class, by the way, at our YouTube channel, which is MiRealSource Media. Go to the lead generation classes. We'll show you exactly how to promote your listing, how easy it is. The piece that you're looking at right now is the additional piece that Dave mentioned that this is brand new for us. And this is, again, where you can bring that traffic back into one place. So you're now capturing it right here. And there's even some more cool stuff coming, as John mentioned. But as you can see, this is someone going to that site, doing some searching. Kind of walk us through that, will you, John?
Right. So from the property search, it's similar to in Paragon, where you select the class of listing that you're looking for. So you can do the residential homes. You can run the search based on that. Or you can just immediately toggle to vacant land or multifamily if you're looking to do that. And then the benefit of the search is it'll display it in one of two different views, depending on what you're looking for. If you want the map view, you can go to the map view where you can see exactly where the location is. And you can see that we have quite a bit of active listings available to you right now. Or you could do the photo view, and that's where you get that primary photo. By default, it is going to be sorted by price. So depending on what you're looking for, you can kind of fine tune it there.
Hey, there's Matthew Stafford's house, by the way. Good pulling that one up.
And then the other thing is, if you want to save the search, and this is for the public, when they want to save their search, they have to put in their email address. And when they put in their email address, you are going to get that lead. So you're going to have their contact information of this person was searching for these homes on my website. So that is the benefit of the property search section. The other thing is you have different pre-made articles on the resources section that they can go through. And then lastly, they have the contact section, and that's where you pull their information. So let's see. So we'll do the property search, and then let's test this out and see how that comes through. So we'll do the save, and then
I wouldn't mind having a buyer for that Matthew Stafford's home down there in the right-hand corner. That wouldn't be bad. That would be a good year.
Okay. So now you go through this, and then it's going to prompt that user, do you want the email alerts for the search that they're trying to save? So now they're going to be getting contacted automatically through a recurring email system, similar to the one that you can manually set up in Paragon for your users. So it's essentially like they're going in, they're setting it up, they're setting up their own notification system for the search results that they want, and the lead stays with you. and that's part of the IDX piece.
I love that.
Yeah, I think the having this as an IDX site tied to the single property website, once you've got that upgrade where they can connect it, I think that would be very powerful, because I think using social media is a very good way to be able to generate leads.
Oh, absolutely. Because that's the one thing. It's like with IDX websites, it's, well, how do you get them there? How do you get them to this place as opposed to the ones that have the big advertising behind them that individual agents might not have for their own domain? And you do that through those social media pieces. You do that through getting them to look at one house and then look at other houses, then set up their notifications, and then you have the contact. But without that social media piece, that's where it kind of becomes an issue of, well, how do I get them to my website? And that's what we're trying to solve, is to try to steer traffic towards where you want them to have the traffic. And that's kind of where the single property website comes in. From there, and we can see from the poll how many people are using it. We use it because it's effective. We use it because we know that social media works for advertising real estate. Now it's just a matter of that next step, getting them onto the next website.
I like it.
Fun product.
So if somebody wanted one of these, well, where do they go to get one? How do they get one?
We actually have the handout available. That just requires the agent to sign up, broker to sign off on it. Because it's IDX, technically we do still need a brokerage signature, even if it's for an agent website. So get the broker.
And I actually attached that handout that John is referring to. It's in the go-to webinar panel. So if you're looking to set up your IDX website, the one John's showing you right here, if you go into the panel, you will see a section that says handouts. All you have to do is click on it. It will actually open up that handout. You can print it, you can save it. If it was Dave, he would print it, I would save it. So whatever works for you.
I'm old-fashioned.
Yeah. And then it has the email address at the bottom to where you send the form after you have it signed.
Perfect.
And then
so
processing is really quick on these, usually within a day or two.
Oh, that's terrific. Okay, so within a day or two after we get their form and the broker has signed off on it, how do they get an email notification? What is the way that we notify them? Do we call them?
Yes, the vendor who builds the websites will actually be in touch with them to make sure that we have the domain linked to where they want it to go.
Okay. And then, John, in my notes, I noticed one of the things that we didn't cover is you were going to talk a little bit about CoStar. And I know there's a lot of questions about what is CoStar? How does that work? What does that piece entail? You want to kind of give us a little tour of that?
Yeah, of course. As soon as I forget to look at my notes, I immediately forget what I was going to talk about.
That's all right. I bring it back around. I do that myself. I jump.
Well, this is a good transition because CoStar is not IDX. So
yes.
We're moving to a different subject. It falls in the syndication category.
Yeah, so when I was doing that exhaustive list of syndication websites, Zillow, Realtor.com, Trulia, I of course forgot CoStar, which is our newest syndication partner. It's not just a specific website for CoStar. Obviously, the most prominent one that CoStar does is apartments.com, but they have several others that they send out to. So looking at my list, because I didn't memorize it, we have apartmentos.com, apartmentfinder.com, apartmenthomeliving.com, forrent.com, forrentuniversity.com, corporatehousing.com, and after55.com. So signing up for CoStar syndication, you're sending out to 8 additional websites in addition to the other ones that we have available. So CoStar is the newest one, and if anyone wants their broker to sign up to syndicate to CoStar, they just have to get in touch with me, and then we can get that form out to them. But it does require the broker to sign off on that.
Wow. I didn't know that they had all of those. So that every
Actually,
time I talk to you.
Actually, they have quite a few besides the ones that John mentioned. I think they also have land. Don't they have land.com?
Oh, yeah. There's a series of land websites as well for vacant land properties. So I think there's like another 5. Let me see
Big
if
thing is if you want your listings to go there, have your broker contact John.
yes, and then homes.com is the other one that was added more recently. So homes.com is another one that your broker can decide to syndicate to. So most people are aware of Zillow. Most people are aware of realtor.com, but CoStar would be CoStar and homes.com would be the new big ones that we have available to you for direct syndication. That way you don't have to go through ListHub to do it. But I would recommend that brokers set up their ListHub as well, because you have another 93 websites available to you through there.
One thing I will say about ListHub is there's, like John says, there's 93, but it's constantly changing. So, the 93 that are there, next month it might be 97, and they might be different. And what we've seen happen sometimes is somebody says, why is my listing on this site? I don't want it on that site. Well, when you sign up with ListHub, if you check the box to send it to everybody that they have, it means that any new one they get next week, then it's going to go there too. And you may not know that it went to the new one that they added next week. So you have an option to, check the box that says, yeah, send it to all of them, or you can not check that box and only approve them on an individual basis. Now, if it was me, I would be only approving them on an individual basis, because I don't want to be surprised when somebody comes to me and says, why is my listing on this site? I didn't want it on that site.
Awesome. So John, we did have one question kind of circling back around. I know I'm kind of jumping you all over, so I appreciate you doing this for us today. But we had one question. If they didn't get the email for the single property website, let's say that it went to their spam, as Dave mentioned, can you show them on your screen within Paragon where they could find the link? And again, this is included in your MiRealSource benefits. You can go there right now. You can start using it. Matter of fact, I just did a flyer and included some of the pieces of the elements in our single property website. So can you show them where they would go to find the single property website if they didn't receive the email that it's ready?
Right. So you can go right into the listing on Paragon. I have Legacy Full Agent as the report, the default report, and it's the blue house, the white check mark. It's just directly to the right of the showing time button. So that piece should be on there. And then the URLs for the single property website are pretty uniform. It's the mi-mls.com/ and then whatever the MLS number is. So if you know the MLS number and you use this frequently enough, you kind of can just plug it in without having to go into Paragon every time or go searching through your emails every time. Once you have the URL for the one, you interchange the MLS number for your other listings. So if you're doing a bunch of these at the same time, that should save you some time there.
Oh, that's awesome. And then can you show them under resources too, just so they can kind of see that piece if they went in under resources? Because there's 2 ways, as John mentioned. It's super easy if you're right on the listing. If you wanted to gather all of the, so right under resources and then list track, you can also access it through there under the social media and lead gen, which is nice because if you've got a bunch of listings, like I have a couple listings and there, a couple of them are pending, but I still want to promote them, then you can actually go right in and find those right there too. So that's kind of a cool little dashboard.
Available on this side. Obviously, I'm in mine and I don't have any listings. So
that makes sense. On mine, you see a couple little links there. So different ways that you can get in there. I do like the dashboard too, that kind of tells you how many eyeballs are coming in, on your single property website. So that was cool too. All right. Did I miss any questions? I wasn't going, I know we jumped around a little bit more than our usual notes, but Dave, did we miss any questions?
I'm not seeing any questions.
Okay. Well, then I think we should do our giveaway. So we've got a giveaway prize. I'm going to grab the screen back from you for just a moment. And John, I thought you did a great job of making that very simple, because sometimes I was very confused in the beginning, the difference between IDX, syndication, what I needed to know, why is it different than just sharing your listing? So thank you for making it, I call them in terms even I can understand.
And thank you for leading me through all the talking points that I missed.
You did a great job.
Remember, if anybody wants to hear the interview with John on the podcast, it's at yourrealsource.info.
All right. Okay. So I'm going to, can you see my screen, guys? Can you see that? All right, terrific. So I am going to show you what today's prize is. All right, so it is a fun movie night because I am all about right now just doing some fun ideas. It's, that summertime where you want to do all those fun things. So before everybody gets talking about school, if and when we are going back to school, it seems a little up in the air at this point. But I wanted to do some fun things, and I did this for my family recently, and it was a big hit. So the question is, and all you have to do is go to your question panel. But we are trying to, Debbie Fajardo, our Director of Education, has actually done a great job of putting all of our classes together in one convenient place. And we have classes on every single topic, from lead generation to writing transactions to having your clients sign them with their fingertip. Even a lot of our classes that I know because our classroom is closed at this point, we used to have those big classes all the time. So we wanted you to have a resource that you could go and still attend these great classes. And we wanted you to be able to watch them at any time. Now, in addition to that, we have also set it up on our Facebook page so that you can request one-on-ones. And what I mean by that is if you watch the class and you found, you know what, I still have a few questions, or I tried this and it didn't work exactly like I thought it should. Maybe you have a couple of questions about a couple different products and you would like a complimentary one-on-one with one of our trainers like myself. I think I've done 5 or 6 of these just this week. You are welcome to go to our Facebook page and actually select the appointment time and date that you would like. And then you can even select the product that you're looking for additional help with. It does give us a 3-day window. So it asks you to book 3 days out so we can find the right trainer that can sit down with you via Zoom call or via webinar so that we can actually walk you through whatever questions you're having. And the nice thing about our trainers is they are all realtors. So when you ask them a question about, I do this with my business, they're going to be able to actually walk you through that particular process. And they can give you good examples too. But the question today is where, and I know we keep kind of reiterating this and we've talked about it a little bit even on today's show, where do you find our pre-recorded classes? So I'm looking for the actual place that you would find our pre-recorded classes that you can watch 24 hours a day. All right, let's see. Again, where do you go to find our pre-recorded classes? You can watch them 24 hours a day.
So you're looking for the exact name?
I am looking for the exact name.
Not a general name.
And it looks like Tom Nouveau. Congratulations, Tom. That's where you're going to go. You're going to actually go to YouTube, and our YouTube channel again is going to be MiRealSource Media. And when you're there, what I'm going to ask you to do is please remember to subscribe, because anytime we add a new class, we add a new product, or John comes up with this great new idea, we want to make sure that you get notified right away. So there's two things we're going to ask you to do when you go to our channel, MiRealSource Media, and you're going to go to YouTube, type in MiRealSource Media. Our channel will actually pop up. When you do that, please make sure to subscribe so you get the latest notifications. And there's also a notification button that will tell you when anything new we've posted is sent out to you. So remember to do those two things. Congratulations, Tom. It looks like movie night at your house. John and Dave and I will be over. Just let us know what the movie's going to be. And Dave, John, anything you want to give as a final parting note?
Just
Shout out to Matt.
remember to visit the podcast site, yourrealsource.info, and please listen to our podcasts.
All right. And I've actually learned a lot from each one of them. It's been very, very good. And you know, the nice thing is they're short. They're a nice little car ride, 15, 20 minutes. I think working at the MLS, I know a lot of the points, but I always pick up something I didn't know at each and every one. So, all right. Well, other than that, stay safe, happy selling, everybody, and thanks again for joining us today.
Thanks, everybody.